On this episode of The Pitch, West Ham's Aaron Wan-Bissaka with us to talk about the challenges he's faced in his career and the resilience to make it to the top.
Just never give up, even if you don't see a clear vision of where you want to be, just keep going.
What was it like being under Ten Hag?
Well, at the start it was difficult, because I think as soon as he joined, he told me that I wasn't in his plans, especially for me, mentally, because it's like, what do I do now?
How hard is it motivation-wise to keep training, keep that momentum when you don't see the goal in sight of the starting and playing?
With the people I had around me, that guided me in the right way to just keep going.
Look, we've got 6 topics in front of us. This is a timeline of your career. We're going to work our way through. Number 1 is your upbringing. Now, when did you first fall in love with football? How did it all start for you?
I was probably age 5. Because we were limited with what we had, it was more just out and about. We didn't get the opportunity to watch football live at the time. It was mostly highlights, match of the day. But we just made the most of it.
When you think about football now, when you were a kid, what did it represent for you? Was it more opportunity, fun, or a goal of a different life? What was football to you then?
Back then, for me, to be realistic, it was just fun. With reality, it's hard to see that vision that you're going to make it as a professional or be on TV or become what your idol is, So it's more about just enjoying it.
You always spoke about that green opposite your house. You'd call it your Wembley growing up. What was it like playing with those kids there, and then fast forward to the fact that you actually did play at Wembley?
Yeah, crazy. That's all every kid wanted, to be on that pitch. Once you get on that pitch, all you want to do is stay on it. And the amount of kids that were on there, they just all they wanted to do is just play.
Who were you envisioning being? Who were you idolising and looking up to at the time?
For me, it would be Henry, definitely him. That was my idol growing up.
Arsenal player as well. Am I right in thinking your mum and your family are Arsenal fans?
Growing up, yeah, we're all Arsenal fans. Until I started playing professionally.
Well, before we get into your career as such, just more on the upbringing. I heard you say that your family didn't have a lot when you were growing up, and that your parents had to work cleaning jobs to be able to afford your boots and your kit. What was life like that at that time, and seeing what your parents were having to go through to make sure you had the opportunity?
To be honest, during that time as a kid, I didn't really see much, so everything just felt normal.
At what point would you say you did realise the sacrifice that had gone into helping you achieve your dreams?
This was when I got into secondary school, and that's like the age where you kind of you want things, trainers, boots, clothes. I wouldn't say I was quite demanding, but when I wanted things, they would kind of brush it to the side and be like, wait a couple months and things like that. So that's when I kind of realised.
People around players like yourself always notice it as well. I mean, I think I heard a story about your dad being asked for tickets at some point. What happened there?
So this was after I made my debut. He was still working at his job, and he was asked quite a lot for tickets because Crystal Palace was obviously the local team there. So obviously he wasn't able to provide through me. So I think they just took it in a way of jealousy, really. And it happened a few times, and then one time I think they just fired him from it. And yeah, that's the story he told me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you think people try to almost take advantage of your situation?
Yeah, through him, yeah.
Wow. With your dad as well, he obviously helped forge your career to begin with by taking you to training and those long bus journeys and train journeys. What was it like, the dynamic between you and your dad growing up?
How was it? It was difficult, because there was a language barrier. His English weren't great, and my French weren't great. So only a few words can get exchanged at times, but it was mostly the basics. So we didn't really get into deep conversations, just mainly football stuff and just family stuff, really.
Did you ever feel a pressure from your dad? You know, I think you had said before that he never particularly told you when you'd done something well. He was always the first to give you the constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel a pressure?
No, it's more of confusion to why he would not praise me as much. You know, I used to question myself, am I not doing enough? Even after, like, example, just scoring. I used to just think to myself, is one goal not enough? And then as I got older, I kind of understood it. You know, he always wanted me to test myself.
Your dad was quite particular about the groups that you were hanging around with, your friends at the time. I think there was some friends that even said, right, don't come back, Aaron needs to focus.
Yeah.
What was that like from your experience?
For me, it was annoying at the time. I was confused on why, you know, especially at that age. I was quite strict with it, and I didn't understand what he saw in them and the friends I had. You know, it was just a group of friends growing up, just wanting to have fun and just enjoying every moment we had together, and just felt like he was getting in the way of that. But obviously I didn't understand then, but now I fully understand it.
Do you feel like you missed out on an element of childhood? Because I know there's certain requirements to be as successful as you've been and as you are, but it does mean that you have to sacrifice other elements of your life. What's the balance for you? How much do you think you've had to sacrifice to be where you are now?
I think quite a lot, and that was probably around 15. It was mostly to do with things like going out after school or to like parties and just hanging outside at times you're not supposed to. But as a kid, that's what kids do, you know, and some parts I missed out and some parts I didn't.
Did your friends understand at the time what you were trying to achieve? You know, the amount of times I've heard friends of mine say when we were younger, oh, I'm going to be a footballer, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, but you almost laugh it off because you think, oh, it's not really going to happen, the small percentage of people that actually succeed. When you were telling your friends this, did they support you in it, or was it hard because they didn't see a world where that could really happen?
The friends that obviously he noticed that weren't good for me, obviously they didn't understand, you know, they just thought my dad's just being a typical annoying dad. So that's one thing I couldn't explain to them because I didn't understand myself. You know, I used to just agree with him, yeah, he's being that kind of dad. But probably looking back now, I think they could all see why.
Well, I'm going to move us on to point number 2, which is Crystal Palace.
Okay.
When you first got approached about joining Palace, when did that happen and what was it like when you were first approached? What was your initial feelings towards it?
I was excited. Obviously you have to change your ways. You know, it's not like Sunday football anymore. You know, this is an opportunity to make something out of it.
Was it quite overwhelming to begin with?
For me, nah, because everything just happened so quick at that age.
You said that you didn't necessarily take it as seriously as you could have to begin with. What does that actually look like? What does not taking it as seriously as you could have look like?
It's obviously not making football a priority. Just, as I said, just having fun, just playing it because I like it. And friends are playing it. And obviously when you're in an academy, that's when you have to take it serious. But obviously I was getting a few distractions from school, which I do think is normal. But it's really up to you if you allow it to become a distraction.
At what point did you realise that it was impacting your position at Crystal Palace?
When I think my dad's friend, whose son as well was at the same age group, he came up to me and told me that they are looking to release me. I didn't really believe it. It was 50-50, you know, but obviously he sat me down and he just told me what my dad's been through from the start of my journey till now, and that I should be grateful and just keep pursuing this dream, you know, for my sake and his sake.
How daunting was it hearing those words release? Because I know every young player, that's like the dreaded word.
Yeah, a wake-up call for me, definitely, and that just made me realise and understand how my journey's been and where I've come from, and I can't let it end here.
Even if they hadn't have released you, and kept you on. Do you think that if you hadn't have had that, it wouldn't have given you the kick that you needed, that you would have almost just floated through rather than really looking inward and being like, no, I can be something brilliant here?
No, definitely. I think I needed that, and till this day I thank him as well, for telling me that, because some other parents, they really don't care about other kids, just their child. So for that, I gotta thank him for that. Yeah.
Do you think your dad would have told you about that, or do you think he would have?
Yeah, he would have, but at the time it was like, he knew I didn't care, so it was like anything he says to me, it'll just go out the other way.
What was it like being told that you were getting your debut, knowing that your name was on that team sheet?
When you're in the meeting, obviously you count the numbers in the first team squad, so you know whether you're on the bench or you're just travelling. And I think there was about 22 players, and only, I think 21 make it. So when I counted 22, I automatically thought myself, I'm going to be the one just travelling, sit in the stands, and then the team sheet came up. And obviously for me, the first thing I look at is the bench, because I'm just going to be realistic, I'm not going to be in the starting 11. So I don't see my name on the bench, so obviously I was a bit upset. I put my head down, and then I get a nudge to my left, and then a nudge behind me, and they just said, congrats. And I was confused for what, and then I look up, and then I see my name on the right back position. The nerves that kicked in that time, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Was it nerves before excitement?
Definitely, yeah. Nerves, yeah. Because the team we were playing as well, were playing Tottenham at the time.
Well, we've had the stories of training Wilfried Zaha being in your pocket at times. What do you remember about those sessions?
No, they were fun, challenging. I think that made me better as a defender. Definitely training against him. He used to praise me on the challenge at the end of the session.
Yeah, I've seen things from him before where he said that it used to be the most frustrating thing for him because he'd be so annoyed, but then he'd also have to praise you because you were doing a good job.
Yeah, because even as before that, when I was a bit younger, we used to watch the training sessions, and he used to just dribble past everyone, and the entertainment on that was just crazy. So I think once I started training and I kind of gave him a challenge, I think that kind of changed things.
Also increases your confidence, right? Knowing that I belong here, I'm good enough to be here, look what I'm able to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, as I said, that just made me better as a player as well.
Yeah. Well, fast forward to your debut then against Tottenham.
Yeah.
Wasn't the result you wanted, but for you personally, it was an unbelievable performance. I was looking at some of the stats from it, and it was like you won 66% of your duels. There was 7 tackles, 4 intercepts, 4 clearances. It was just an unbelievable debut for you. How did you feel on the pitch? How did you feel making that debut?
To be honest, everything got blocked out as soon as I came out of the tunnel. It just felt like a normal game. Couldn't really hear the fans. It was just more of like, let me just focus on this game. I think we had Tottenham, United and Chelsea. Yeah. All that I was thinking in my head before these games was, I need to play well. I was telling myself, one bad game, I won't be part of this team again. So I think that kind of stuck with me and just made me just give my all on each game, and I think I played well on all the games and stayed in the team till then.
I remember Roy Hodgson said at the time, he was like, it was a sink or swim situation, that you really did just get thrown into it, didn't you? What was your relationship with Roy like?
No, it was good. It was good, even from before I started playing. Nearly had a fallout before. So obviously, before my debut, I wanted to go on loan. Yeah. But I actually really wanted to go, so there was a time where on my day off he told me to come in and speak to him. So I thought he was going to accept and allow me to go out, and then he told me he doesn't want me to go. But for me it was more of like, I was confused on why, because at the time I was just travelling, sometimes on the bench, and then he told me I couldn't go. Conversation ended there. Then as I'm on my way home, I found it cheeky of him to ask me, do I have my kit? And I said no, and he was just like, the kit man will sort you out, we got a training session. But this was on my day off, but then he made me train with the first team, and then 2 weeks later, or a few weeks later, yeah, that's when the debut came. So it all worked out.
So he didn't even tell you in that conversation the reason why?
No, of course not, no. But yeah.
You were picking up a lot of interest during your time at Crystal Palace. Everybody had their eyes on you. People were talking about you being one of the best 1v1 defenders in the league. Manchester United had their tabs on you. What was it like knowing that a club of the magnitude of Manchester United were looking at you and focusing on you?
I'll be honest, I didn't believe it at the time. You know, I think things were happening too quick at that moment. I didn't believe it. I hadn't even played a full season, so none of it fazed me. I was just focusing on my game at Palace.
Well,
Yeah.
Talking of Manchester United, that is up next. You did move from Crystal Palace to Manchester United, moving from London to Manchester. What was it like moving to a different city, especially at the age that you were and with the price tag that was associated with you? How did it feel moving up there?
Different, you know, it was a big decision. A lot to adapt to. But obviously I'm going there for football and nothing else.
It is hard though, moving away from home, moving away from family, and especially with a club like Manchester United, there's so many eyeballs on you that it is a hard adjustment though.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just even on your lifestyle, you know, what you do, everything is, everyone sees it, everyone watches it, and everyone has their opinion.
I heard stories of you travelling back to London after training sessions whilst you were living in Manchester. What was that dynamic like?
At the start, it was quite easy. I just missed home. That's really family and friends, you know. So after training, I used to take the train back to London, leave in the evening, pretty much every day. And then it kind of got tiring, so I knew I had to stop.
After training every day?
It's only 2 hours.
It's a big commitment though.
No, of course, yeah, definitely. It's draining.
There's an element of loneliness. Is that where it comes from, moving to a different city and taking on basically a whole new life in Manchester?
Yeah, obviously something I wasn't used to at all, you know. For me, it was like I was just comfortable with being home in London with my surroundings, you know, and for that one day to just change, it's quite difficult to adapt to.
Heard you say before about struggling with that loneliness element. What was struggling? What did that look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
That would just be at home alone, just on the PlayStation really, until it's time to go to sleep, pretty much, yeah.
But Manchester United, obviously, massive club, huge performances for you there as well. I remember, I think it was Jamie Carragher describing you as the best one-on-one defender in the world. Hearing people give you, you know, taglines like that and putting in big performances like that, how did that make you feel at the time?
Obviously it's a good feeling, you know, getting praises like that. And obviously it just helps for you with like confidence and just things like that. So hearing that, it just shows like the work you're putting in. Obviously people see it as well, not just yourself.
It was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who brought you to the club in the first place. What was your relationship with him like, and what sort of confidence was he instilling in you at the start of your Manchester United career?
It was good. You know, our relationship was good from the start. You know, a very good guy. We got along quite well, and I think all the other players did as well. I think it's just who he is as a person. Obviously, he's gonna back you from the start, you know. So he's giving you a job to do, and you just got to back yourself on it.
It's an element of almost showing up for him because he's put that trust in you and brought you into the club.
Yeah.
What is it like? Manchester United again has gone through a few different managers. What is it like when the team hears word of the fact that the hierarchy might be changing and the manager's being replaced? What is it like actually in that team dynamic?
It's more of just sticking together. You know, there's always going to be noise outside of the club, and we can't let it distract us in a way. You know, we've got one job to do, and that was to just compete.
After Solskjaer, I think it was Ralph Rangnick came in next. You fell out of favour a little bit during that time period. We spoke about Manchester being a smaller place than the likes of London. Was it hard to kind of avoid the negativity or the noise or the opinions during that time?
Was it hard to avoid it? I think sometimes it can be your choice. You know, if you want to see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. I experienced both. There was times I wanted to see it, and there's times where I chose not to, because it's always going to be there, regardless. You know, positive and negative.
Why did you want to see it? Why would you want to read stuff about yourself like that?
I don't know. Sometimes it can just be tempting. You know, just to see what people are saying, because everyone's got opinions. You know, I was once a fan, and I had my opinion. Sometimes it can motivate you and push you. Sometimes it can't. So I just wanted to see what it did to me. And for me, I think I just blocked it and ignored it, and just focused on myself, really.
Is that in terms of like social media, looking through what people are saying?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever feel the urge to reply?
I'd reply in my head to them. But no. I could never reply. No.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. Once you start, that's
exactly.
it. Erik ten Hag obviously came in as well. I think it was the Brighton game that you played under ten Hag where you were absolutely flying. 100% of your dribbles were successful. It was an unbelievable performance. What was it like being under ten Hag?
Well, at the start it was difficult, because I think as soon as he joined, he told me that I wasn't in his plans. Then when I tried to leave, he said he doesn't want me to leave. So it was difficult, especially for me mentally, you know, because it's like, what do I do now? But I just kept my head down and just told myself, just keep training, keep getting better, improving, and just play your game.
How hard is it motivation-wise to keep training, keep that momentum when you don't see the goal in sight of the starting and playing?
It can be difficult, but I think with the people I had around me that guided me in the right way to just keep going, I think that helped a lot for me.
Would you say tactically you changed under Erik ten Hag, you know, with maybe your attacking side of the game? Would you say that developed under him?
You could say that, you know, because that's obviously something he wanted. And if you're going to play, you got to play the way he wants to. So I think that's something you had to adapt to, playing under him.
Yeah. With Manchester United, you obviously then did eventually decide to leave the club. When that was being discussed about you moving now to West Ham, did you want to leave at that point? Did you feel like you had more that you wanted to give or more that you wanted to prove at the time when that was coming about?
I was in two minds, to be honest. It was either leave now or, because I had a year left on my contract, so I thought I need to get back on my feet. You know, I need to start playing every game and not like every 2 games. So I thought this opportunity was the right time for me to make this move. And I thought West Ham was the club for me. Yeah.
When you reflect now, looking back at your time at Manchester United, what's your overarching feeling of it?
Grateful for it. You know, I think that made me who I am today. Helped me on and off the pitch, you know, mentally as well. And yeah, I enjoyed every moment. you know, all the good and bad. Yeah.
Picking up 2 trophies as well at Manchester United's got to be a high.
No, definitely, you know, even to experience lifting a trophy, you know, with Manchester, you know, great feeling, and obviously it was proud moments.
Again, before we move on to number 4, Manchester United at the moment, Michael Carrick is obviously back at the helm. He was interim manager for a very short period of time whilst you were there.
Yeah.
What is he like? What is it like playing under someone like him?
He's someone you can trust, you know, and he'll trust you back. When he came in, it was nothing different to expect from him. You know, he just wanted, it was quite simple. And I think the boys were happy with him, with the games he had when he was the manager then. And obviously for him to be back, I think they're in a good place, you know, as a team.
Yeah, I think whilst you were there and with him, it was like Villarreal, Arsenal, Chelsea. You got 2 wins, draw against Chelsea. People will say now as well, like, should he be given the full-time position because of how well he's doing? Do you think he deserves it now? He's kind of shown that he's capable of leading Manchester United to great results.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. I think he should get it.
Yeah. Look, on to number 4. What was the decision? Because I know you did play with England for a period of time. You know, you did some of the age group stuff with them, and then obviously the main debut. What was the decision to go back to Congo?
Pretty much to just give back to my dad. You know, represent where we're from, and just try to achieve something with them.
Future-wise, what is in the pipeline for you internationally? What are the things and the goals that you want to tick off there?
To qualify for the World Cup, you know, that would be a dream. I think we're capable of doing it, and just for the whole country, you know, it'll be massive for them. You know, it's been roughly around 50 years since they last competed in a competition like that, so it'll be a big achievement for them.
Well, I'd love to see it. On to number 5, which is West Ham. Moving back from Manchester to London, it must have felt a bit like a homecoming, did it?
Yeah, it was weird as well moving back, you know, because I'm used to staying for like a day or 2 and then going back. So when I actually stayed for more, it was weird at first, but it's a good feeling to be back, you know, home. I've missed it.
When you had the conversation about joining West Ham with your family, what was the general consensus from them?
We're going to support any decision I made, whether I stayed or came. But obviously when I came, they were happy, you know. It's more of a chance for them to see me and also come to my games. And since I've joined, they haven't missed a home game. So it's good to have them there supporting.
What made it feel like the right time?
The right time. I think it was just, obviously my contract was coming to an end. So I think that kind of, I wouldn't say helped, but that made me know that it was the right time to probably move on and get back on my feet.
Talking about getting back on your feet, your performances have been excelling at West Ham. How have you felt so far personally you've been doing at West Ham?
Good, you know. I've been happy with it. Obviously I could tell from when I'm smiling every day, playing with a smile, you know, I'm happy again. And all I really want to do is just help the team, really.
There seems to be a correlation that people jump to, that when some players leave Manchester United, their career kick-starts again. We've seen Scott McTominay being another one of those. What do you think about the narrative around that?
I think probably just new surroundings, you know, new beginnings, new challenges. And yeah, I think that also helps with just performance. You know, sometimes you might need a change to bring the best out of you, and I think that's happened to a few players.
Do you think it's more within kind of revitalising that hunger and that motivation more so than the actual club scenarios?
Yeah, you could say that. And obviously, with the noise around everything, I think new surroundings can help change.
Do you think that with West Ham, we mentioned before, obviously Manchester United being such a big club, do you think it is easier to stay away from the noise, the headlines that come with Manchester United? Did it feel like an easier way to manage it being at West Ham?
I'd say so. It's not as intense as Manchester, where people watch every move. I think with me at West Ham, I can be myself. I haven't really got to check my shoulders for anything. And obviously the supporters there, they've been amazing ever since. I think the team's just known for having like a fighting spirit and just backing you from the start to finish.
In terms of the team itself, what is it like in terms of the connectivity and the closeness within the dressing room between you as a group?
Quite close, same again when I joined, the players have been welcoming, the fans have been supporting, and I think that's all we need, togetherness.
What does the future look like for you and for West Ham together?
Bright, I know what we're capable of. For us, it's more of just all being on the same page and having the same goal, because it's possible to achieve.
We'll bring you on to the last card, which is advice. It's just one for a lot of guys and girls watching this will have the same dreams and ambitions that you had when you were younger. What would be your kind of key bit of advice that you would give to the next generation looking to forge a career like you have?
For me, it will be not to shy away from opportunities. Listen to your parents. Just to be yourself, Don't let anyone tell you what you can or can't do. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. And just never give up. Even if you don't see a clear vision of where you want to be, just keep going.